Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. Yeah, I apologise for that. I've been busy, which is good, but unfortunately it hasn't left me much time in order to create some content about behind the scenes or lighting on some sets. I was lucky enough recently to be invited by Zak Pinchin to work on his music video with Anime on their new song Heavener, which is a great song. Marcus flew in from Sweden for it, which was it's a really cool opportunity to work with a band of that level. I was mostly helping out with lighting, setting up stuff. We also had Callum, who was the first AC, smashing it there. Zak Pinchin, who was the director and the DOP for this. Marcus, who was he's the vocalist of Anime, but was also acting and singing along in this. And then we had Tilly, who was the actress that did some other bits. So I'm going to break down a few of the scenes, a bit of BTS of what happened, how we got that look, and yeah, let's dive into it. So to start with, let's talk about the camera. So we're using the Blackmagic 6K Pro. Great camera, it's got the built-in NDs, you've got the B-Raw, and then we were using his Sigma primes, like the 18-35, 1.8, 50mm, 35, so on. So nothing super fancy, but still you're able to get a great look with it. And what really set this video apart was the location. Now the location was fantastic. It was like 3 stories, this kind of abandoned looking house. I will link it down below, but you wouldn't have been able to get or elevate the music video like this if you didn't have a location like this. So bands that have reached out to me and why I'm always pushing for better location. Honestly, location will push your video up. Lighting and camera can do so much, but set design and location will really boost it. So let's have a look at some of the first scenes. So let's start with this scene here. So we actually have a, I believe, 9mm acrylic plastic here, which is just being held up, and then we are lighting it. These are just, again, like on a tripod static shot, and then sometimes a bit of movement. But the way we're doing that is we just have a Aperture 300D with the Light Dome 2 softbox and the grid on. We've got 2 C-stands rigged in order to hold it with the knuckles, hold that in place. And then we actually have my 21X going above, just right at the top here, to help light up the hair here. We did get a bit of a gradient, but to be honest, it kind of worked with with the look that was going for it. You'll be able to see here that we've blacked out the window here. That's just so we can control the light spill here, but that's it. It's just pretty simple, just 2 light setup for this one, and then yeah, just shooting into that. Next thing we've got is this one here, this really nice shot here of him facing away from camera, looking down to the side against the wall here. Now this is a 2 light setup. So we've got my 21X just boomed up. That's being used as the key light. And then we've got the 300D with the barn doors on, being used to create that kind of like spill of light that the sun would create. And again, here we've blocked out wall light, we've boarded it up, blocked it out, but that creates this really nice look. We were originally thinking about, for the wider shot, a slightly wider shot, having some more, because this was shot in an archway, or the camera's placed in an archway, you could see it. We were thinking originally about having maybe a bit of light there, but in the end we just decided, or Zak decided, should I say, sorry, that he wanted to push in closer, so therefore we didn't need to light that. So this is 2 lights. A lot of this stuff actually was, well, all of this stuff was Amaran and Aperture. I said to Zak when he reached out to me, I said, do you want me to bring in my lighting? I was happy to, you know, include it in my day rate. And a lot of this stuff came in handy. A lot of this stuff was good as well, because those barn doors have been getting a lot of use recently. If you haven't thought about buying the barn doors for your Amaran or your Aperture accessories, I would highly recommend some. So let's go over some other scenes. Okay, and these shots, the first ones of Marcus singing. Okay, so the way we did this was, it was just again, 300D with key and just 1 stop of the diffusion, the frosted diffusion, and then the net. Made sure to put on the net because I was helping set this up whilst Zak was doing some other bits, and me and Callum were having a look at the monitor and comparing this. And we kept seeing that without the net, there was a lot of spill onto the wall. which when we're trying to control it with the barn doors just didn't really help. So that's why the net was on, but a lot of the times, to be honest, nets stay on and they don't come off. For example, I'm currently using a net on my 21X that is lighting me up as my key right here, and I barely ever take it off, just control the spill. So you can see here, we've got the 300D here. There were two 300Ds, so I should say that just because I brought my lighting doesn't mean that it was all my lighting. There was other lighting as well. So Callum brought his 300D, Zak brought his 300D, I bought my 300C, 21X, some tube lights. Zak had hired the 1200D from Sean at Loki Films, which was used as what we called like the big Oppenheimer was the joke, because there's bits where there's a lot of light flooding in. The 1200D is obviously perfect for that, you just blare it. Poor Marcus and Tilly that had to endure the 1200D being blasted at them wasn't great. But yeah, if you look here, you can see the light dome here is the key with the wrapped around him there. And then we've got the 300D with the barn doors creating this little slash here on the side there. We've just literally put a 5-in-1 reflector, just shoving it up there to control some of the light spill. We did actually eventually properly hang up some black cloth and properly, like, you know, block out all the light here, but for the time being that was doing a good enough job. Like, even when we had it all up, it was because we had the key and because we had the splash, it was making no difference at all, so we just left it like that. You'll see here some bits here of Zak filming and singing along. Great here, that's the shot. So next we'll move on to some of the shots with Tilly. So a lot of these shots actually didn't really need that much lighting. Where the sun fell on this particular day with this location was like perfect. In fact, for one shot, we didn't even use any lighting other than natural lighting, and I'll go into that on the next one. But here, we've got the mirror, and then Zak shooting into this, and Tilly's walking through, and he's getting that shot. This is how we did it. If you look here, we just added one tube light. So I used my PT4C just to make sure that you can see that the wall is illuminated. If not, all you can see is just this this mirror. And what the effect was we wanted to look was it's just in the house, a reflection like that. So this is a shot actually where it was just literally sunlight. I started to block out the light, but then I was letting a little bit of splash in, and Zak said he liked that. So then what we did is we hooked up with like crocodile clips to make sure that there was just this spill that came through, and it literally worked perfectly. It's lighting up the back here, but it's also exposing her perfectly. So in the end, for this one, there was no light at all. And because of like how professional Tilly was and how great at directing Zak is, it was just such a quick scene. I think it took them probably about 10, maybe 15 minutes max for them to get this sat down, talk through the instructions, film it, and it was done. So that was a really quick shot. What's really cool about this music video is one of the shots with projected shot of Marcus's face onto the white cloth. We actually filmed the bit that was going to be projected here at this location. Zak went off and did that himself. This was a 2-day shoot. I only worked on one of the days. Zak did the second day, such shots as the bathroom with the flowers and the water spilling over the sink, and that amazing projected shot of Marcus's face just in that room with the white cloth flowing, which is such a great shot. I remember when he told me about it, I was just like, that's such a cool idea. So the way we achieved that was you had to film Marcus first in order to project him. So quite easily all we did was we just blacked out all the room. So all the light coming in, we just put black cloth up, anything we could to block out all light. Then what we did was we hung some black cloth behind Marcus, sat him down, and then ND'd so it was dark enough, and then we just exposed by again using the 21X, angled, facing at an angle towards him, kind of that like diagonal angle down like this, kind of like Rembrandt but from front on, but at the side rather than directly above. This just helps so you don't get complete raccoon eyes. And then exposed down, so it was just literally all you see was his face and just darkness behind. And then just shot this this was sped up actually. So the way they did this, it was in double time. So Marcus had to sing double the speed of the song in order for it to be slowed down at 50 frames per second and then projected back onto the white sheet, which would then be recorded. So quite a lot goes into that one shot, but I think without it, it wouldn't look as epic. And if you've watched the video, which again, if you haven't watched the video, I'll link it down below. But if you haven't watched the video, you clearly see it's one of the best, if not, I think the best shots of the music video. Just glad I wasn't there to help out with it. So a really cool shot, a really cool shot was the one of Marcus singing into the broken mirror's reflection. Now, the way this was done was we had some kind of like acrylic, not proper glass, but reflective material. I can't remember what it's called, like a shiny acrylic. And then it was snapped up, and then it was just me using my my fashion tape that I usually use for lapels to put them into people's clothing when doing interviews if I don't want the lapel on show. Just putting that onto a mechanical Lazy Susie, which then we jerry-rigged, kind of rigged it to a C-stand, and then that spun around slowly whilst Marcus sung into it, and then Zak filmed it. So you can see here that you've got the 300D up high, angled, filming his face, and then filming the reflections of the Lazy Susie. You get this really cool effect, and then this is what it looked like when we were filming it. So you can see there, Marcus is singing into it, being lit up by this. We've got some spill coming in from here, but again, like the ambient light was barely doing anything because it's so far away. You might not be able to see from here, but that's about 15 feet away. Got some more shots here, for example, of Zak filming the mirror reflection. And yeah, that basically sums up how Invent's Animates Heavener was shot. Huge shout out to Zak for getting me back on another shoot. Great meeting Callum for the first time. Great working with Tilly for the first time, and lovely meeting Marcus. If you've got any more questions about this, feel free to drop me a message in the comments. You can follow me on my socials if you want. I often post a bit more there, or I post a bit more frequently there about BTS. I'm also going to be starting to do some breakdowns of my own music videos. I'm going to try and do this on set. So I'm going to be walking around with a Rode Wireless Go and getting a BTS guy to film and ask me questions, and I can talk through some lighting setups. And that way, I think that'll be a bit easier. Till next time.